Have you heard about dry ice? What is dry ice? Dry ice is nothing but solid carbon dioxide. Now when carbon dioxide is subjected under high pressure, that is 1 atmospheric pressure, and the temperature is lowered, carbon dioxide becomes solid, and that is what is dry ice. This is used as a cooling agent. Even when we want to preserve ice cream under normal temperature, if it is between the dry ice, that is solid carbon dioxide, it will remain solid. Why so? Because you see, carbon dioxide absorbs the heat from its surrounding to change back to gas. Right? So as a result, the surrounding things will become cold. That is how it acts as a cooling agent. So we can say that change of matter solid to liquid is increase in temperature and decrease in pressure. So it is reverse. And further liquid to gas, again further decrease in pressure and increase in temperature. In the reverse case, it will be gas to liquid will be increase in pressure and decrease in temperature. And again from liquid to solid, again increase in pressure and decrease in temperature. So this is how the state of matter is interchangeable by two things, temperature and pressure. Remember the water cycle? We always say that water is constantly evaporating from the water bodies, from plants, from soil surface. How is this happening? Like I told you, the kinetic energy of all substances and also within a substance in all layers is not same. At the surface level, kinetic energy is more. So, at the surface of a liquid, the evaporation will be more. And that's a great advantage. That means we don't always have to heat for changing liquid to gas. So in the case of water, what happens? Constantly evaporation is taking place from the uppermost surface of water. That is why the clouds are formed and it comes back to us as rain. Right? So another thing is that liquid to gas is evaporation, and gas back to liquid is condensation, and water cycle is nothing but a cycle of evaporation and condensation. So evaporation always takes place, but it takes place from the upper surface. Now, under which conditions evaporation takes more? A very day-to-day experience. Take into consideration various seasons. You want to dry your clothes. At night only, you wash your socks or your uniform. Now you want it to dry fast. What do? And when is it easier? In summers, you even spread it outside and it dries up. But that doesn't happen in case of winter. And especially it doesn't happen when it is rainy season. So what do? How do you improvise? In winter or rainy season, not only you put it inside the house, you also switch on the fan. That means the factors which can increase or decrease evaporation are there. And also, when you want to dry your clothes, you spread them well. So from these examples, we can say that the factors which are favorable for evaporation are: first, the exposed surface area. Even a small thing like a hanky, if you spread it, it will dry up very fast. Do you ever dry your hanky when it is folded? Of course you don't. Second, temperature. That is why the clothes dry up faster in summers and not in winters. So when atmospheric temperature is higher, the rate of evaporation will also be more. Third, humidity. That is amount of water vapors present in the atmosphere. When humidity is high, as in the case of rainy season, or in the coastal cities like Mumbai or Chennai, the rate of evaporation is less. So, clothes don't dry up fast. Fourth is wind. When air is blowing, then even when it is becoming saturated with water vapors, it is humid because air is moving. What is wind? Moving air. So, fresh air comes and it is able to take up more molecules of water. So, when it is a windy day, the rate of evaporation is more, and so the clothes dry faster. That is why you remember you kept your clothes under the fan, because there was then moving air, and that helped to increase the evaporation. Now, what is wind? Moving air is wind. So, when air is not moving, what happens? After some time, due to evaporation, humidity increases and air gets saturated, and so it will not let more water in. So, evaporation rate will go down. But if air is moving, then the humid air will move away and the fresh air, which will be dry, will be able to allow more water to come in. So, on a windy day, the evaporation is faster, clothes dry up faster. And what is the improvisation we did? We kept our clothes under the fan, because they provided an artificial situation where the wind was there, and so the evaporation increased. Now, what happens if you put a drop of perfume on your palm? You start feeling cool, isn't it? You know, when we were small, what we used to do at that time, there were no ACs. So, we used to create our own natural cooler. How? You know, we used to sleep in open on rooftops, and before sleeping, what we would do? We would wash our rooftops, and because of sprinkling of water, it used to become cooler. Not only this, sometimes we even sprinkled water on our sheets. That was our natural cooler. Cooler also does the same. Water is sprayed over the mat, and when it evaporates, we feel cooler. So, what does that mean? The evaporation causes cooling. Why so? For state of matter, we need heat. So, that means for evaporation, we need heat. Only then liquid will change to gas. Now, from where will this heat come? From the surrounding. So, in the case of cooler, what happens? Hot air is there. So, from hot air, heat is taken and water evaporates from the mat. And as a result, air becomes cool, because you know that heat gained is equal to heat lost. So, from somewhere heat is being taken, and that is what is helping it to become cool. So, we have to remember that evaporation always causes cooling, and our body has a natural system for causing cooling. That is why how we are protected during summer. What happens during summer? We perspire so much. We sweat. It's very, not very good feeling, but it is very good method, because when we perspire and the sweat evaporates, after some time we start feeling cool. Sometimes so much so that you want to stand just below the fan. Then what happens? We feel the sweat keeps on evaporating and we feel keeping cooler. But in rainy season, the cooler is not effective, because the air is humid. Water is not evaporating fast. Similarly, in coastal cities, when it is hot and humid, the sweat is there, but sweat does not evaporate. So, we feel uncomfortable. Now, imagine you are sweating It is not only hot, it is also humid, and you are wearing synthetic clothes. You feel horrible. There is irritation, there is, discomfort. Why? Because synthetic clothes cannot absorb sweat so easily. In fact, almost that is their advantage. When we wash them, they dry also fast. But then the disadvantage for especially tropical climate is that they do not absorb sweat. So what is the way out? Way out is, for Indian climate, the best fabric is cotton, because cotton can absorb sweat, and when sweat evaporates, there is cooling. So that is why we have invented things like cooler, or we have methods by which we can feel comfortable during hot and humid conditions. You like to take chilled water in summers? At least I do. But the problem is, the moment I take water bottle out of the freezer and keep it on table, there is water all around. Now from where has this water come? Even when you take water in a tumbler and put some ice, or if it is cold water, then water drops come outside. From where have they come? No, in the atmosphere also there are water drops, but they are not in liquid form, they are in the gaseous form. So they are in the vapor form. The water vapors, the moment they come in contact with a cold surface, they become liquid. Condensation takes place. So that is why water droplets appear on the glass tumbler. This is what is condensation taking place in the atmosphere.